Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be doing a double review of two Autobot Medics. Minerva from Super God Master Force, I think is the correct name in Japanese, or not in Japanese, but in the correct series she's from because she's like one of the Headmaster Juniors. And here we have Medix, who is from Rescue Bots. Technically, who was our first Rescue Bots character to be released, even though he was an exclusive to Walgreens along with Minerva here. Well, not in the same line, but they're both exclusive to like Walgreens for some reason. And these are probably the last two like exclusives that Walgreens is ever going to get. Like, I don't know why they decided to do it to begin with, besides money. But from what I understand, even though while I wasn't looking for either of the two figures specifically, both Red Alert and Ratchet were released as Walgreens exclusives. And in some places, they didn't get those. So the fact that they weren't just general releases just weirds me out. Like, I'm happy that the Studio Series versions, the Studio Series version of Ratchet got a regular release because of his mold mate, Ironhide. But Red Alert hasn't been re-released to my knowledge anywhere outside of Walgreens, so yeah. So so we got Minerva here, who is a repaint, slight remold of the Alita 1, and we got Medix, who's a repaint and head swap of the like crankcase mold, which is also Skids. And if you checked out one of my previous reviews, I had a whole discussion slash talk about how surprisingly how many uses this mold has gotten compared to like the sideswipe mold. But yeah, I'll have that linked into the description below. And don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. All those fun doodads. Let's continue. So let's start with Minerva first. So yeah, as you can see here, classic little race car or little ambulance motif. Can't legally use the like Red Cross symbol for, I guess, because of the Red Cross themselves. But yeah, painted wheels. We got the same guns that Alita 1 had. But yeah, like, this was meant to be her gun originally. This is just a clear pack-in, essentially. And this gun is also cast out of the clear plastic. But yeah. Also, she does have one difference over Alita 1. Speaking of which, here she is. So, like, for one, this one has the, like, light bar accessory instead of the top of Alita 1's head on this one. And yeah, also, if you look up, like, you're gonna see how these guys transform. Like, it's kind of obvious. But yeah, and then also, a weird another coincidence is, Medix comes with the same guns and same light bar, so that means they're all in the same mold. And I find it funny because these two guns were given in the Autobot like Stands United 5-pack that had the like New Jazz and Sunstreaker that had like all opaque plastic. So these guns, if you have all those sets, you have a lot of the same type of gun, which I find kind of funny. But yeah. So as you can see, besides the obvious color differences, not much difference in terms of overall surface molding. But yeah. So yeah, it's just slight different paint apps to make it look a little bit different. So let's take a look at Medix's original mold partner. So yeah, so not much different between these two besides the obvious light bar. But yeah, then also I kind of like the like heart rate monitor thing here on the side that just helps. It helps break up the vast amount of white that is on this. And as you can look under here, he has a different head than Crankcase. This is the burnout head. And somehow it kinda fits. Like, obviously the Crankcase head was designed to fit into this. But I guess since this is a heavy remold of Skids, they decided we're not going to use the crankcase mold for this guy, or crankcase head for this guy. We're going to use the burnout one, because I think that might be more accurate. I don't know. I never really watched Rescue Bots all that much. I watched it when I was a kid, but I never watched anything that had this character in it. So yeah. So, and also, comparison to the only other rescue bot that we have released so far, that being Chase. So yeah, and these guys go pretty well together. I can't wait to get the rest of this set, like, in the future, because we got photos of the artwork for Heatwave in the most recent Age of the Primes reveal. Well, reveals from, like, Cybertron Con. But yeah, so let's get this out of the way. We'll start with this guy's transformation first. Okay, start off with, remove the guns here from the back. And this is the same gun that crankcase came with, just casted in the same blue. And also for this guy, I like taking off the chest plate because, for one, look at all that painted detail. And two, it helps differentiate it more from crankcase because I tend to leave the chest of the vehicle. Like, this is a vehicle gun bit just on the chest. So yeah, then start off with, flip the doors up, rotate this down, fold all this up, fold in the wheels as well, don't forget about that. Untab the back thighs from the roof here, straighten them out, bring it down, bring the arms up and untab them, bring the upper arms out on the mushroom pegs, rotate them forward, bring this entire section down, you can bring this up, remove the shoulder cannons as much as you want, into whatever position you want, and here we have Medix in his robot mode, and it's crankcase but with a different head. Like, the head I feel is a little bit too far back. I feel like they should have made maybe use the same CAD file for this guy, for the head, but change it up a little bit so that way it sits a little bit far forward. But yeah, like if you look against his mold mate, like, I don't know why, but like the head fits the body a little bit more. But yeah, then also let me just take this off so that way you can see it for comparison's sake. So yeah. Yeah, it's cool. If you wanted a Autobot version of this mold, then I say like this one ain't bad. I'm pretty sure it's cheap off the aftermarket because I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, maybe it was like overstocked or something like that. I don't know the aftermarket prices for a lot of figures, annoyingly. But yeah. So yeah, so the one more little comparison out of the way. Here he is next to Chase, and also because of said reveal for Heatwave, and he's going to be a bulkhead remold, this is probably how they're going to scale together. Do I wish he was a deluxe class figure? Probably, but we kind of knew this was going to be happening from the start, or at the very least, I think because of some leaked listings or something like that happened a while ago, saying that this mold was going to get used for Heatwave. Don't get me wrong, from what looks on the arts, it looks good. Could have been a bit better, maybe, but I want to see the physical toy first. So yeah. So let's get these guys out of the way. Let's do a quick run through of articulation, then we move on to Minerva's transformation. So to start off with, we got a ball joint at the head, can do a little bit of side to side and a full 360. The cannons back here are on hinges. You can do what I did on the cannonball version of this mold, and like put the backpack down so that way if you didn't like the shoulder cannon look and wanted to differentiate them even more from crankcase. So yeah, hinge at the chest. There's also a hinge here inside of the shoulder, probably to help a little bit extra. Technically you have a shoulder rotation because of the transformation, but then you also have a bicep rotation, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow with a wrist swivel. There is a waist rotation. Legs can go forward that far and can go back that far. Legs can go out that far. full thigh rotation. Knees can bend to 90, and feet can go to 90 as well. So yeah, pretty good articulation. Like, this mold has always been pretty good. It's just that it's of a figure of a very obscure character. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, no one had even heard of Medix by the time of, like, this figure's release, unless you already knew about, like, modern rescue bots. But yeah, so let's arm him up. He is arguably the most heavily armed rescue bot I have ever seen, because he has 2 laser guns, well, two guns, another gun, and then whatever this technically counts as, which flamethrower maybe, but I just tend to either put it here on the arm, has like a shield, or just leave it here on the back, because this weapon makes no sense to me. If you look at it from this angle, it's just a car bumper. If you look at it from the other angle, it looks like a flamethrower. Like, this is dumb. Either you just leave it on the chest, which, honestly, I don't mind that look, or you put it on the back. Just out of sight, out of mind. So, yeah. And my figure seems to be hit with quite a few loose joints that I haven't been able to fix. But yeah, so let's get on to Minerva's transformation. So to start off with, remove the guns. Set them off to the side, and then we can start. So to start off with, move the feet out and make sure they click into place. I wish these were pinned in and not friction hinged, because originally these were loose and rattly as all hell until I took them off of the hinge and put super glue on there to thicken the peg. So we just remove that, untab the legs from each other, make sure it clicks into place, and then you fold in this little side section here. There we go. Untab the arms from this windshield piece here. Make sure you turn them inward, so that way they can untab from the shoulder. Just like that. Rotate the fists down. Then we can untab this all back. And then bring all this up. Fold in the back piece here. Rotate it all around. Make sure this spoiler tabs into the little section above the hinge. Right there. And also make sure to raise up the shoulder pylons that she has. Just like that. So yeah, and here we have Minerva in her robot mode, and honestly, it's cute. I say, considering this was the intended use of this mold over Alita 1, I do like it a little bit more. Shame that she isn't a headmaster, but then again, I don't know how they could have fit a headmaster into this mold, considering A, it has nowhere to go, but I've seen people mod the neck joint here to be able to be compatible with, I think, one of the Legends versions of her headmaster, because she came out as just a headmaster in some part, I think some part in Takara's line somewhere. So that way you technically have the full headmaster figure, but you can't really put her in the vehicle mode, which I feel like is the true, well, not the true measure of a headmaster, but is the true gimmick, being able to incorporate the head into both the robot and in the vehicle mode, or the headmaster into both modes. But yeah, if you want a version of her that I think is technically from Victory, where I think at the spoilers for a show that's been out for a long time, but I think by the end of the show that she's from, she becomes her own robot and thus doesn't need the headmaster gimmick anymore. So this can be your Victory version of Minerva, until we get a version of Minerva from, well, Super God Master Force. But yeah, so here we have her extra guns and such. So yeah, she can hold them pretty well. I honestly like giving her this one a bit more. It just seems right than just leaving this one like on the back here. So yeah, then all the guns that I mentioned in this video have been blast effect compatible. So yeah, you can just like pew pew to your heart's content. So yeah, let's go over articulation, then we can do comparisons. So for her articulation, she has a ball joint at the head, which is pretty expressive. Such. Also, pretty well painted. So yeah, can't really do a full 360. Can really go more so 180. Can't really look up that far. Can look down a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Shoulders go out that far. Full bicep rotation. Can do a full rotation, it's just that it bumps into the shoulder wheels. Elbows can go over 90. There is a wrist rotation. There is a waist rotation. Legs can go forward that far and can go back that far. There is a thigh rotation, but it is a bit limited because of how the thigh is designed. Then also this thigh is cast in white plastic but painted red, so do be wary. Knees can bend to 90, and then the ankles are not on a hinge joint, but they do have ankle pivot. So yeah. So this is honestly a pretty good version of the mold. If you don't care for Alita 1 and want I say more popular character, but like a more well-known, I guess, then I say this is not a bad option if you can find it for cheap. So yeah, I'd honestly say like go for like regular retail price, like $20 ish for the Scowl. So, and speaking of which, here she is next to her mold mate, Alita 1. So yeah, Alita 1 can also do the shoulder pylon thing. I just tend to go for making it look like the fronts of the cars are her shoulders, because that just helps make the differentiation just a bit greater, in my opinion. So yeah. Honestly, a really good mold that I feel like gets slept on by a little bit because of how, well, I guess how it works or something like that, but like, it's still good in my opinion. So yeah. So, and here she is next to the other Walgreens exclusive, that being Medix. So, both of them being pretty good deluxes. Honestly, I say, like, if you have to go for one over the other, I say go for Minerva than Medix. Because Medix, I mean, he doesn't really have any fiction to him, and honestly, after this review, I might just sell him off. But yeah. So, this has been my review for the Walgreens exclusive Medix, or Minerva and Medix. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let me know your favorite like character from like, or favorite Autobot medic from like the franchise in the comments below. And who would you want to see in the future? Honestly, I would like to see a new version of Minerva / Nightbeat with the Headmaster like compatibility. Like, I would just love to see that because I remember Nightbeat from the Marvel comics and that was just fun. But yeah. Anyway, this has been my review. I hope you guys have had a good rest of your day. All of my other reviews will be linked in the description down below. So, this is me signing out. Peace.